Okay. I learned where the last journal is. I looked it up. Didn't look... Once I realized how to do it, I stopped looking, so I didn't want to, like, spoil it, and, like... But I would have never found it without a little help. Sometimes in games you need to go to a library.
Mind yourself down there.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to waste them on your
Oh, scared the hell. I think we're good, guys. But we need to go this way.
I'll say this for my colleagues in the Order. We certainly thought big with the archive.
Could have gone down that way. Oh, well, go back that way. Okay. Was this the... Oh, that's the lift I want to go to right here. went through that whole world, but I did not come here. Okay, so these guys have been... They were the... Oh, how am I supposed to find them? Mhm. Okay, I think that's at the very, very top. Mhm. It was. Or maybe it's in inventory. Oh, yeah. I think it's these things, actually. And the collectibles. Those are just recipes, huh? Hmm. Or was it quest items? That's what it was. Okay, here we go. Hmm. Hmm. That's really annoying. Okay. Well, anyway, there's some person having an existential crisis. This is the final journal. Return variable resist. I think it got stuck.
speak of a grand plan, of ordered complexity, where all things have a reason for existing, a purpose to fill. But what purpose is served by hundreds dying senselessly in the cold? The longer this interminable war drags on, the more convinced I become of the universe's dispassionate variability. We must reconcile with this reality, and if we cannot, then perhaps it is time we evolve a new philosophy altogether. It's certainly worth bringing up with the presiding bishop upon my return.
Ooh. Now, let's see where it went. Oh my goodness, look at that. Alright, we'll listen to them all as we go.
The Oracle Laureate hoped that sending me into desolation would mend what he saw as wounds in my mind. The first few weeks were horrible. Grief dogging my every step. Nightmares of my murdered colleagues. But then, the nightmares began to ease, and the grief ebbed away. What replaced them is emptiness. The Order speaks of humanity becoming something more, but their words are insufficient speculation. There is nothing more to be. Only dust and death, and the rifts await us. Those rifts, I find the absolute annihilation they offer oddly soothing. Perhaps I will make one last pilgrimage. One last journey on the path from nothing to nowhere.
Laureate Beckett was right. Solitude has been good for my studies. In just 93 days, I have made extraordinary progress deciphering the truths of our universe. For instance, there are none. None whatsoever. Objective reality is itself a concept invented by subjective observers eager.
Sorry to cut you off. So it seems like she sent them all different ones to...
Laureate Beckett was right. Solitude has been good for my studies. In just 93 days, I have made extraordinary progress deciphering the truths of our universe. For instance, there are none. None whatsoever. Objective reality is itself a concept invented by subjective observers eager to apply reason to chaos. In light of that view, better to assume we are all sleepwalkers, sharing the same dream of consciousness. We are the universe attempting to know itself. Wow. Life-affirming, in a way. And to think, I almost walked out into that blizzard last week.
Hello. So,
I'm trapped. Messages to the Order left unanswered. Tried to run. Got about 2/5 of me gouged out. A lot of blood. Last now, spent much of my life wondering what I'd say at the end. Trying to think of the words for this felt like reading a thesis before the presiding bishop. But a lot of people die. And not a lot of final words get remembered. Certainly no one will hear these. So why worry about being meaningful?
Let me know when you need a
What
distraction.
matters is who I was when I was alive. And if I was predestined to be Ursapod food. I think maybe I would have liked to re-roll the odds.
Okay, this was like a dying woman's words. And you're like freaking out. We'll listen to it again. I want to play it again right now, but I think... Whoa, look at you. But I feel like they're gonna...
Can you imagine what it must have taken to build something like the archive? The engineering alone is unlike anything I've ever seen.
I think that is a good place to put a trigger for them to say something, because when you're walking through, you know, you come to that big vista and it's, you know, it's cool. Okay. Oh, let's get outside first.
Get to your post.
Hello. So, I'm trapped. Messages to the Order left unanswered. Tried to run. Got about 2/5 of me gouged out. A lot of blood. Last now, spent much of my life wondering what I'd say at the end. Trying to think of the words for this felt like reading a thesis before the presiding bishop. But a lot of people die. And not a lot of final words get remembered. Certainly no one will hear these. So why worry about being meaningful? What matters is who I was when I was alive. And if I was predestined to be Ursapod food. I think maybe I would have liked to re-roll the odds. We in the Order love to speak of a grand plan, of ordered complexity, where all things have a reason for existing, a purpose to fill. But what purpose is served by hundreds dying senselessly in the cold? The longer this interminable war drags on, the more convinced I become of the universe's dispassionate variability. We must reconcile with this reality, and if we cannot, then perhaps it is time we evolve a new philosophy altogether. It's certainly worth bringing up with the presiding bishop upon my return.
Let's go find out. I feel like the laureate is the most obvious choice. I can't remember if which one's considered the laureate, so I'm gonna try her first.
Let's pinpoint what you and I can accomplish for the Order.
Okay, and then my second choice was the vicar.
Always a pleasure to speak with one who has done so much for the Order. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now.
That sure will be some comfort the next time one of my stumps seizes up.
This kind of collateral damage is precisely what I was hoping to avoid. But that is the past. We must look toward the future now. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Hello, stranger. Mercenary. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Any undue rage you note in my tone is not at all related to the recent coup in my beloved protectorate. I do so dearly love residing in a nest of traitors, waiting for them to capitulate, unable to aid my fellows at home. It is truly a wonderful feeling. console, the console. The console is the worst traitor of all! In short, no. No, the Order must capitulate to the Sovereign. Only execution awaits the console, and all others shall regain their senses. All this is beyond my purview, I remind myself. I must remain focused on the Order. I am not just anyone. The duty of a liaison is of the utmost importance, requiring due diligence and delicacy. Though I suppose it a mite strange that this task fell to me, as I'd urge the vehement tanning of any wayward body bent on disrespecting the Protectorate, which would now include the Protectorate at large. Madness, slandering my beloved Sovereign, following that feckless consul, makes my blood boil. I had reason to suspect the consul for some time, but this is beyond the range of simple suspicion. Some subjects had begun to doubt the Sovereign's ability to lead as his father had. But I did not expect them to turn so openly. Anyone who didn't side with the Sovereign will pay, sooner or later. You may count on it. I've proudly served the Protectorate my whole life. Now look at it. Traitors from without, traitors from within. It's enough to make an old man despair. That consul, I never trusted that miserable bastard. His betrayal is so galling, I'd almost care to join the armed forces to bring him to justice myself. But my hands quaver with age, and the Sovereign has tasked me with my own duty. I must see it to completion before all else.
Back again, are we? No, not asleep. Merely waiting. I have no idea. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates. Indeed you are. All figures have value in the universal equation, although, upon immediate reflection, I don't think that's what you meant. Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand? But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I, don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. All confidential, I'm afraid. Many are still under peer review, but I can assure you, their value is commensurate with, why, the discovery of gravity, or has the potential to be. You have? Well, no need for Fabian tactics. Let's see them. Cool. Look at me, as giddy as a first-year novice. All right, let's listen. No, this isn't right. There must be some mistake. The beliefs advocated here are entirely in opposition with what the Order stands for. I don't suppose you have any other recordings less filled with, despair? Philosophism? What's that? Well, that sounds horrible. It's evident what happened. My colleagues must have gone quite mad in the isolation of their studies. Sad, but perhaps not unforeseeable. Only one certainty remains. These logs must be destroyed.
What?
I shudder to imagine the ramifications if other members of the Order were subjected to such nonsensical rantings. Please understand, what's been recorded here borders on heretical. Scientism teaches that the universe is constant, rational, and inalterable. These proofs reject all of that reason in favor of some ineffable manifestation of personal will.
That's exactly what I'm going to say.
No, of course. You're right. Rejecting data out of hand only leads to confirmation bias. I will preserve the logs, if only to study where these scienticians went wrong. I believe I promised you a reward. Here is that lockbox. I regret I don't have a key, but I'm sure you'll find some way to access its contents. Eventually. What other stray inquiries occupy your mind? How do you know about that? I mean, that is quite the allegation. I deny it effusively.
Oh, I could have had that.
As you have cleverly sussed out, Laplace's garden is the subject of an experiment into social conditioning, or curating, if you will, through the use of therapeutic pharmacology. We have been administering a pharmaceutical to the population of the garden via the water supply that aids in emotional regulation. We call it perspective. It's odorless, harmless, Well, apart from the withdrawal, but I can assure you we have our best minds working on that little issue. Minor complication at worst. Irritation, paranoia, increased desire to gamble. Oddly enough, all manageable conditions, of course. We are increasingly operating with fewer resources, however, and most regrettably, we've had to eject more and more subjects from the experiment in order to continue it. In a plan-perfected universe, we would have ample time to wean participants off perspective before sending them out the garden. But, alas, we do not live in that universe. Yet. Why in the world would we do that? Is that your concern? No. All the participants agreed to have pharmaceuticals administered to them at any given point.
What?
See, perfectly consensual, at any rate. I have no interest in debating the ethics of this experiment with a layperson. No offense. Don't we all? And what a history it is. The Order of the Ascendant, along with the Archive, has been headquartered on this moon since the founding of the colony. It was given to us by the matriarch herself. She understood how vital our contributions would be to Arcadian society, which some have forgotten. It is why we're here, in fact. Cloister has two things in abundance: ice and geothermal power. Both made it the ideal location for the Archive, and we've utilized its vast computational power ever since. Who's to say it didn't? Do you think it mere coincidence the Order was ready to quit the Protectorate en masse the moment the invaders arrived? Seems statistically improbable. That's all I'll say. Oh, the garden is a marvel, isn't it? A prime example of how this colony could function if led by science and rationality instead of fear and oppression. Everything within the garden was meticulously selected by a committee of the Order's best archivists to provide for mental clarity and focus. My word, you should have seen the debates over the shrubbery. I've never witnessed such passionate discourse over foliage of all things. Nothing beyond what I already included in my 165-page summary of the incident. Why do you ask? His resignation has been duly received and accepted. Where he goes from here or what he does now is up to him. I expect we won't hear from him anytime soon. On a more positive note, the Department of Predictive Analysis's biennial summits will be far less contentious. Of course I do. That is precisely why my energy is better channeled toward the future, to ensure such tragic events never happen again. Landon Wiley was afflicted by that which strickens all scholars, the desire to effect change, to advance the plan at any cost. Were his methods wrong? Unequivocally. Should he have come to me with his concerns? Undeniably. But was his conclusion categorically sound? That remains debatable. Generally, yes. Although it's important to remember that unexpected outcomes can still arise from failed experiments. But let's move on to other topics, please. All this fractious talk is giving me a stomachache, and... Oh, I just got rid of the last one.
Huh. Well, I'm glad I did that. It was like the order. Okay, so we are amazingly done. I love that I did not do that right. Okay, so definitely we're gonna...
These temporary indignities of the body are nothing contrasted to the Order's future. Keep those eyes open, soldiers. Corneal frostbite to Sam.
Commander, this unit requests your presence in the cockpit to discuss a priority matter. A significant anomaly has been detected by onboard sensors. This unit has cross-checked all data points and verified the findings. Horizon Point Station has reappeared. Based on energy readings, Horizon Point has been reconstituted by the Protectorate's large-scale rift modulator, thus confirming the Archive's theory. While present data does not indicate if Horizon Point poses an immediate threat, a survey of the reconstituted station is advised as soon as possible. Calculating. According to the Archive, closing all rifts requires locating the Protectorate's large-scale rift modulator and inputting the rift data processed by the Archive. However, before navigating to Horizon Point Station, it is recommended you conclude all other affairs. Leaving will be highly unlikely due to the high levels of rift energy. That is a correct assessment, Commander. Transitioning to Good News Protocol. As this unit was corroborating data on the anomaly, a message was also received from your allies, Commander. Auntie's Choice and the Order have sent word that their forces will be prepared to render you assistance once you navigate to Horizon Point. Briefing complete. Now returning to situation monitoring and data analysis. Commander,
Alright, we'll just talk to him one-on-one then.
The corporate stooges and the Order were good for only one thing, laying waste to one another. Now they are allies? I'm disturbed by the implications of this alliance. But the Protectorate will yet prevail. Mark my words.
It defies belief you negotiated a partnership between Auntie's Choice and my colleagues. I've no faith in my predictions now. True, true. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. May the plan favor us against long odds.
What do you need, Commander?
Never thought I'd see the day the Order stoops so low as to pal around with Auntie's Choice. Because that's just what the galaxy needs. A corporation empowered by intellectuals, and a religion now in bed with the almighty bit. Nothing can go wrong there. Never been much of a fan of surprises.
Figures that after all our time avoiding rifts, our next mission has us heading right toward one. But that suits me fine. You know I can't go a day without attempting some heroics in the face of danger. Soon as you're ready to travel there, I'll be standing alongside you.
How do I trigger? Oh, let's see what those new ones are. Connor's mobile turret set. Suit. Automatically reloading system increases user efficiency. Passively loads ammo into your current weapon based on your gun skills. Oh, yes. Remote detonator. Virus. Beacon that's stick on impact. Reload and detonate beacons. Oh, I see, I see. Oh, that's cool. Okay. No. combat, not detecting it. Oh yeah, no good. Strong enemies become weak 5% sooner. Nah. Menacing mask. Melee. Merciless master. When you are killed, all the way. No, that's not good. Shadow hacker. That's okay. Let's get this one. I'm never going to use any of these anyway, but that's alright. Okay, how do I gather the crew? Go to a specific room. All we're doing is, where's this going to be though? On Praetor. Alright, well, we're going to call it. And then the next time we'll go get her mech suit and see how that goes. You guys, you have a good one.